Toy-polloi, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a toy restorer who does not exist. Toy-polloi, a young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the broken, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of collectors who operate above the law.
Welcome to Toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from Toy-polloi, and in today's video we are going to be making some more capes, but this time it's not for Star Wars figures. Today we are going to be making capes for the vintage Battlestar Galactica figures. Now I have previously shown how to make capes for the Ovian and the Imperious Leader, but one I get asked about all the time is the capes for Starbuck and Adama. So that is what we're going to be working on today, but while we're working on them we might as well also make a custom cape for Baltar, a figure that never came with any soft goods. So let's get on with the project and see how we can go about making them. Okay, so here we have a selection of Battlestar Galactica figures. We have Adama in blue and we have Starbuck in the beige. And more often than not, when you find these figures, they look like this bottom row with the sort of capes missing, but this is how they should look. Each of these figures came with a cape and a gun. And the capes, as you can see, are a fairly simple construction. Well, they look like a fairly simple construction, but I actually think they're going to be more awkward than normal capes and all sorts more normal Star Wars capes to make, at least, because they have this extra little sort of ribbon that goes around the edge of them. So this is a Starbuck, and you can see I've got two of those. There are some variations on these capes. There's a slightly different fabric used. There's a more sort of orangey brown and then a darker brown here, and then we have Adama, who is basically wearing the same cape, but this one comes in blue with a white ribbon. Now the ribbons on these should be a more vibrant yellow, but you can see this one has faded a bit. In fact, that one has faded a little bit more. So with age, these things do tend to sort of change their colours. I will try and make these look sort of close to as original as I possibly can. The first thing we need to do is actually to make a template. So I'm going to take one of these capes off, get a piece of paper and do some tracing. This is the quick template that I've made. I've basically turned the cape inside out and then used it as a sort of guide to mark out where everything should be. As I say, it looks fairly simple, but it's actually a pretty complicated construction because we have a couple of pleats at the back. If I fold this the right way around, you can see there's a little pleat there where the fabric has sort of been tucked underneath itself. So I've marked those on my template here. And then we also have this piece of ribbon that sort of goes around the edge of it, and then a small piece of elastic that attaches the front section together. I think this is pretty close. I don't want to unpick this cape because I don't have that many of them. That would be the ideal way to do this, unpick all of the sewing and then you get a flat version of it. So I've just been sort of working this out by carefully holding this and sort of rotating it around, and you can see that that matches pretty closely. So we'll cut this out and then sort out some fabric and see about doing a sort of a prototype one and sewing it together and seeing how close we can get it. So let's cut this out and then I'll have a look in my fabric pot, see what I've got. For fabric, I'm going to use my sort of favourite material, which is this stuff called toy knit or looped fleece. It's very similar to the materials that they used on sort of Jedi era Star Wars figures, so not quite the same as the original stuff they used on these figures. I've not found anything that's like this, so I think the toy knit will work really nicely, and it certainly sort of keeps it in the right style. But this fabric that they've used is incredibly thin. It doesn't fray particularly much, but it is really very thin. So if anyone knows what that is, then do let me know. But in the meantime, I will be using this. As you can see, I've got a couple of different shades of brown. The capes that I've got are wildly different in colour. So this first brown here is pretty good match for this sort of darker cape. I don't have anything quite this sort of orangey brown, but I do have another one which is a slightly sort of lighter brown. So I'll make a sort of capes out of both of those. And in fact, I think this lighter brown is going to be closer to what was actually used on these sort of screen worn capes. So it will match that more than the toy did. For the blue, I don't actually have a very close blue in colour. I've got this one which is a bit more vibrant, and I've got this one which is almost sort of black, but it is a sort of blue sort of tone there. So what I've done is I've ordered some more blue, which hopefully will arrive before the end of this video. If it doesn't, I'll probably use this brighter blue because I think that will look quite nice. But yeah, hopefully the new stuff will arrive shortly. Now we also need this sort of flat cord or braiding that goes around the edge, and I found on eBay this stuff which is called flat cotton tape braid. I was able to get it in sort of a white colour. This is 5mm across. I've had to buy 5 meters of it, so I've got rather a lot of it, but so that does match this white braid pretty closely. It's the right sort of colour, and it is pretty much the right width as well, so 5mm seems pretty good. I couldn't find any in yellow, so we're actually going to have a little bit of a test in a minute and see if we can dye some of this. Because it is cotton, it should dye really nicely, and I'm going to try a trick that I've seen online, just using some turmeric to see if we can dye this a sort of golden yellow colour. In fact, why don't we do that first, because we are going to need this fairly quickly once we start cutting out the pattern. So let's get some turmeric, a little bit of hot water, and we'll see if we can dye this a nice sort of golden orangey yellow. So I've got myself some hot water. I've cut some of the braid off, about 1 meter's worth, and I have some turmeric here. Now I've seen some videos online of people dyeing all sorts of fabric with this, and it turns a really nice sort of goldeny yellow colour. So really, I'm just going to give it a go. I'm not quite sure how much turmeric I need to use. I'm not sure how long I need to leave it. We'll just sort of do some tests. So let's put a little bit of this in the water. And you can see already the colour is pretty golden. So let's drop this in. I'll give it a mix around and then leave it for an hour or so. I think that seems to be the sort of the standard time, about an hour. Let it soak in, and then we'll see what it looks like. In fact, already you can see what a lovely colour it's going, and that is pretty much the colour I want. So maybe I don't need to leave it in for particularly long. It's already looking good. I will leave it in for a little bit though, because you want it to sort of bind to the material, but that is already a very nice colour. While we're waiting for that to dye and dry, let's try and make one in this blue material, because we have everything we need. We've got the blue toy knit and we've got the white braid. So let's cut this one out and we'll see how easy it is to do it. Now that I've got this cut out, I actually cut some little notches just at the top there to match up with the markings that I put on my sort of prototype pattern here, and that's where we need to make a pleat. So the idea is that we've got to fold that in notch so that it is there, and this piece then goes sort of underneath. So we've got to take the bit of fabric that we've got here and we've got to fold it like that. And you can see there we end up with a nice little pleat, and that matches exactly where there is one on this original cape. And I'm just going to put one stitch in there just to hold it in place. We then need to do the same on the other side, and then we can attach the braid around the edge of it. I don't think this is possibly how they did it originally. I imagine they sewed the braid and everything on in one go, but because this is going to be sort of fairly awkward to do, I want to get everything lined up beforehand. So I think just putting one little stitch in there will really help the next stage. So let's get that done on both sides, and then we'll see about attaching the braid. Those two little pleats are now in, and it certainly feels like it's going to fit quite nicely. That sits right over his shoulders and does have the same sort of drape as the original cape, so I think that's pretty close to the right position for them. Now we need to sew on the braid. So I've cut myself about 15 centimeters in length, and looking at the original one, it's just sewn all along the edge. This is done with a sewing machine, but I'm going to be doing it by hand, and it doesn't look like they've folded over the end, so the end is a little bit frayed. I think I'm going to just fold that over because it will make a sort of nice neat finish. I can just fold that under like that and stop it fraying. You can see this stuff really wants to fray at the end, but I think, yeah, just folding that over will make it look a bit neater. And we've just got to sort of sew that all around this edge, so up to the top, around the neck part, and then back down the other side. Yeah, it's going to be pretty awkward, but it will start to then look like the cape. So let's get this sewn on, and we'll sew it on as neatly as we can. But first thing I've got to do is just carefully fold that end over, if that's even possible. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that's why they didn't bother. Oh, actually, I can see a way to do it. I am going to fold it over the fabric, so it goes right over one piece like that, so it's on the inside, and then you can't see it. Yeah, that'll look good. Right, let's get sewing. And there we have my prototype done. As you can see, it's not perfect, but I'm getting there. It's certainly the right shape. I've got a little bit of a problem with this braiding, which I think I've worked out a way of sort of fixing. But otherwise, yeah, that isn't too bad at all. So let's make another one. I'm going to cut the same blue piece of fabric and do those little pleats at the top, because I think that bit is correct. The little bit of braiding here, the ends fray really easily. So I've just prepped these 3 pieces here, and on these I've put a bit of PVA glue just on the end, just to stick everything together. So I need to let that dry, and I'm hoping that will hold everything together enough that I can sort of fold it over. In fact, I might as well fold it over while the glue is on there like that. And then I can sew that on, and I don't think it will then start to come apart so much or fray as much. So let me fold over all of these. They've just got a little bit of this PVA glue on, just enough to sort of hold things in place. And yeah, I'm hoping that will work, but you can see how easy it is to fray. It's really awful stuff. I'm not quite sure how they did it originally, but you can see how much I've sort of stretched it just sewing this piece on. So I've learned something anyway, and I've learned enough to start making another version. So let's cut another one, and we'll try a second go. So here is that second attempt with just a bit of PVA glue on the start, and it certainly is better than the first one I made. You can see it's looking a lot neater, but I actually went one step further, and that's what I've got here with the 3 Adamas at the top. Actually putting PVA glue along the entire length of the braid really did help. So that's what I've done with these. The entire length of this braid has had PVA glue sort of smeared over it and then let dry, and then I've sewn that onto the cape, and you can see we've ended up with a really nice neat bit of braiding. I've just put a little bit of 3mm wide flat elastic across the top there just to finish it off, but you can see that now sits really very nicely. So all of these 3 are made in that exact same method, just using the PVA glue on the braid. There probably is a better braid out there, but unfortunately I don't know what that is. So this is the way I'm going to make these from now on. As you can see though, they all look really pretty nice, and I do really like the blue material. It actually sits very nicely with the blue of Adama's plastic. So I'm happy with those. Let's go and have a go at making Starbuck's one. And here you can see the results of the turmeric dyeing. This worked incredibly well. This is a really lovely, vibrant yellow colour. I actually only left it in the sort of hot water with turmeric in it for about 5 minutes. And within that time, it had turned this colour. So I quickly sort of rinsed it off and I've let it dry. And since then, I've also added the PVA glue just to a small piece of it, because this is the piece that we will be using to make Starbuck's cape. But you can see that colour really did sink in really nicely. So that's the original colour, and this is the colour of it dyed with the turmeric, so that worked really well. I also tried to dye a piece of the sort of thin elastic that I'm using. That hasn't worked so well. This braid is made out of cotton, so obviously that takes the dye. This stuff I'm guessing is more sort of nylon based, so it has changed colour a bit. This is no longer the bright white that it was, but it's certainly not the sort of bright yellow that we get there, but it is good enough. So now that we have this ready, let's make Starbuck's cape. Now that I've made a few of these, I've actually got quite a sort of system in place, and they're getting easier and easier to make. So this is the cape. I've already sewn in the 2 pleats. We take the piece of the braid, which has the PVA glue all over the length of it. So it's actually gone sort of fairly stiff, but that makes it quite easy to sew. We line that up with the edge of the cape there, and I just fold over this end so it's sort of hidden underneath, and then very carefully sew all the way along this edge. As we get to the corner there, we have to sort of twist it a bit, sew around the neck and then back down that side. It takes about 10 minutes, I'd say, now to do that, but it's certainly a lot easier than the first one that I made. And here we go, this is my finished cape, and I'm really pretty happy with how it's turned out. It's not an exact replica of the original, but it's close enough. Certainly that braid is sort of hard to work with, but I've managed to get it sort of on and as neat as I possibly can. You can see when we've got these all side by side, it doesn't look half bad. There may be a better braid that I can use, but I just couldn't find anything. So if you do know of a better braid, then let me know. But the colour of that cape really matches that middle one pretty well, considering these are both pretty faded. The original capes are sort of 40, almost 50 years old, so they have faded quite a lot. This braid here should be this sort of vibrant yellow. So yeah, those are looking really nice, and I've made myself one little custom as well, because the Baltar figure doesn't come with a cape, so I have made him a cape. Now the reason this is green is because actually the outfit that Baltar wears in the TV show is green, but for some reason they made the figure black, so I have decided to go down the green route and given him a nice green cape here with the yellow trim. So that's my little custom there of Baltar. Let's take a look at all of the figures together. And there we go, that is it now for this project. These are the final capes that I needed to make for this series of figures, and I think they do look really pretty good. They're not the easiest of capes to make, as I said, just because the braiding around the edge is pretty hard to sew on. And as I mentioned, there may be a better braid out there, but I just don't know what it is. If you do know, then do please leave a comment below. But even with the sort of difficulties I've had making these capes, I think they do end up looking really rather nice, and they complement the other capes that I've made over the years. I still think the Imperious Leader cape that I made, the custom cape, just looks absolutely fantastic. I think that's probably one of my favourite capes that I've worked on this year. I will be making the pattern available for these capes. If you want to grab that, then head on over to toy-polloi.com, download the file and print onto some A4 size printer paper. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it and want to help me out here at Toy-Polloi, then why not think about becoming a patron of the channel. You get early access to all of my restoration videos, plus access to an exclusive video series called On the Cutting Mat, where I show projects and restorations that you won't see anywhere else. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy Polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.